Welcome back, everyone. Yes, indeed. It's a safe space with a difference today. We're going very supernatural. And we're going back to the Kansas portal. Big shout out to everyone that is filing in to the safe space arena today. It's great to see you all. And we have got the mum of Scotty in the chat room. Yes, indeed, Armand, Sid, King. A big special shout out to Geraldine and Red Panda, two of our newest members to the channel. And that means we need just 12 more. The 12 new members of Christmas. We'll count them off day by day and get our new emoji, right? And on the 12th day of Christmas, Scotty said to me, there's a heck of a lot of supernatural activity. Yes, indeed, Mr. Scotty. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Things have been
Are you
crazy.
though? Are you though? Are you really doing good from what I've been hearing? Are you? Dang, dude. Dang.
Little bit of pre-show drama with the computer.
Is it technical glitches or is it of a otherworldly interference? I know we have to bring that into the equation now. Me and you are two of the most logical conspiracy theorists I know, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know what's going on anymore, man. Oh, it just seems like things have taken a turn for the surreal. You know what I mean? Just in general. Just in general, things have taken a turn for the surreal. But
before we get going, then let me welcome everyone here today. It's our Scotty-led safe space today. But like I say, I've had the lighting engineers in. We've turned the lights down a little bit. And we're going to get a little bit creepy today. I'm going to stop kind of almost turning it into some entertainment here because myself and Scott, we talk about the paranormal a lot. We talk about Carmel, Maine, the shadow dudes, and over the course of time that we've been doing this, it's come to light, thanks to Scott, thanks to his family, that our very own here, Mr. Lopez, he isn't really having to look too far for this paranormal activity that we're always trying to gauge and talk about, and where are we in this timeline, you know? Well, Scott messaged me last night, and I'd already asked him, what kind of stuff do you fancy going into? It's your stream, you let me know. And then about 10 minutes or so later, whoa, dang, dude. And I got a message. Yes, Scotty. So that's really where I'm going to hand over to you. Because in the past, we've talked about the entity that may have been seen by your mum bending down in the kitchen. We've talked about the other incidents that's happened around family members. There certainly seems to be a growing kind of list of events that when you put it together, Scott, when you connect the dots, it goes beyond coincidence. And for anyone who heard that show last night, was that not a brilliant show, the Coincidence Show? But it starts to get to the kind of realms where, personally, I'd be on the phone to Bill Bean. What's happening, Scott?
So the paranormal activity seems to have picked up around here again. And this time it involves somebody that is not part of the family. So this would be the second time that somebody outside of our family has experienced something around here. Now, I should probably go into the first time which happened quite a few years ago. It had to be probably somewhere around 10 years ago or something like
Take your
that.
time, Scotty. Take your time. You lay it out.
So, my friend Andy had came over with his girlfriend at the time. And she was very open to, I would say, spiritual activity and stuff like that. Much like Joe's wife is, Ange. You can just pick up on these things. She seems to be a lightning rod for this kind of stuff, and just can sense, and has that kind of medium sort of aspect to her, And when they came over, she had told me pretty much instantly when they got in the house, she said, there's a girl here. And I was like, what do you mean a girl here? She's like, there's a spirit of a girl here. And I was just kind of was thrown off because she had never really ever talked about ghosts or that kind of stuff to me before. And this is actually when I found out that she was opened up to all of that stuff. And Andy was like, yeah, she, but apparently when they were pulling into our driveway, coming up to our house, she said that she saw the spirit of a young girl standing by the tree that's close to our house, the katapa tree that's in front of our house. And she said that the girl was wearing like old clothes, like from the 1800s, like Civil War era kind of clothing. And I was like, whoa, whoa. That's kind of. She said that she was standing behind the tree, like kind of like peeking around the tree, like a, like kind of like a shy child, kind of like hiding, but kind of curious or whatever, peeking around the tree, and then just sort of vanished and disappeared.
Now, how long ago was this, Scott?
This was probably around 10 years ago, I would say. Yeah, probably around 10 years ago, like 2009, 2008, something like that. Around that time. So that was very interesting. Then, we had all of the activity around my brother and him seeing these shadow people, right? Which has been going on for quite a while. I don't even know how long that's been going on. Probably around the same time, 10, around 10 years ago, I think is when he kind of started mentioning that. I want to say maybe a little bit later. I don't know. It's been going on for a while. It's been going on for quite a few years. So you got that. My mom had an incident where she was sleeping and she felt something touch her arm and she heard someone go, "Mom." And obviously that freaked her out.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. Then more recently, she saw an apparition in the kitchen that she thought was my sister, but it wasn't. She thought my sister was going to get something out of the refrigerator because we have an island, in the middle of our kitchen, and she saw what appeared to be a girl standing in the kitchen, kind of crouched behind the island.
Almost like out of the tree then, almost kind of crouching, hiding, kind of similar.
Yeah, kind of a similar thing. Yeah, I didn't even think of the two. You know, I didn't even think of the whole tree thing at first. You know, with my friend and his girlfriend at the time, because that had happened so long ago. But then that clicked, and I remembered. Oh, yeah, that my friend's girlfriend had said, "Hey, there's a girl on. You know, there's a spirit here or something that she saw." And I was like, so we've got that, and then actually my mother had a more recent thing where she thought she saw my brother Julian walking through, I believe it was the kitchen. I'm not sure if she's in the chat. Maybe she could clarify a little bit. But it was a solid entity, and no, it wasn't him. But I don't think this time it was a girl entity. I think it was a male entity.
So this is something new then?
Possibly. Yeah. Anyways, this is going to play into what happened last night, I think, possibly. So, my youngest brother, he's 16. You know, he's in high school, and his friend comes over. His friend Justin comes over, and likes to hang out a lot. He's a good kid, you know. And so he came over yesterday, and after he left, he called my brother, and he was absolutely freaking out. Like, he was just freaking out. And my brother was like, "Dude, what is going on? You know, what's up, man?" And he was like, "Oh my God, dude." He's like, "Your house is effing haunted." My brother's like, "What? What do you mean?" He said, and so he went into the story of what happened. So,
and your mum's just updated everyone that was the kitchen. That part,
was the kitchen. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it seems to be a little hot spot, and I also have a little bit of photographic evidence that I think I'm downplaying it a little bit, but it's actually pretty spectacular photographic evidence, if I must say so myself, and I'll be dropping that to you here in just a little bit. So, anyways, my brother's friend said that as he was backing out,
just gonna fill this, Scott. I'll be 2 seconds, right?
Okay. So we have a really long driveway. I'll just go ahead and say we our house is set way back on our property, like pretty far away from the road. So you have to drive up our long rock driveway to get up to where you need to park. And so when he was leaving, you know, he had to back out and then line up on the driveway. So as he was backing out, he looked in his rear view mirror and he noticed someone standing behind the vehicle. And at first he thought it was my older brother Julian, right? Much like my mom thought that what she saw in the kitchen was my older brother Julian. So that's kind of interesting. He didn't think nothing of it, and he started to back up, you know, thinking, okay, well, it's just Julian, and you know, he's gonna get out of the way, obviously, and all that stuff. And as he started backing up, he looked in the rearview mirror again, and this figure was right behind the vehicle, like standing right behind the bumper, lit up by the tail lights. And this is where he freaked out because he said the body was like a smoky shadow figure and that it didn't have a face except for like two black holes where the eyes would be and a black hole where the mouth would be, and that it had like its hair pulled up in like a bun or something.
Now, Scott, where in Kansas are you? Not your. Don't dox yourself, but roughly speaking, you know.
I am just outside of Topeka, Kansas. I'm up in northeast Kansas.
Okay.
So that's where I'm
Now,
located.
this entity that you're describing at the back of the car, no wonder your brother's friend was in a bit of a state, because that sounds utterly horrendous.
Yeah. Now at this point, he just continued to back up. Like at this point, he was just like, "Whoa!" You know, it's like he knew obviously what he was looking at in the rearview mirror was not human or not, and so he just backed up, like almost like gunned it, like tried to hit it basically or whatever is what I would think. You know, like just in a panic, just keep going back.
Is this in between the car and your house, or is he going away from your house, going through it the other way?
Yeah, he's going away from my house.
Got you.
So he's backing out so he can line up and go down our driveway so to leave, you know, because it's a really long driveway. See,
so he
when
guns
you
it.
pull in,
Yeah, he guns it. What happens then?
he said that essentially he drove through this thing. It traveled through the vehicle or whatever. Like he didn't hit anything. And he said there was no way it could get out of the way because it was standing directly behind the vehicle. And so it passed through the vehicle.
Oh.
And at that point, he was freaking out. Like he just was freaked out. And so, you know, after he left, or I think he was calling my brother as he was driving down the road. I mean, I don't know exactly when he called, but he was just freaking out, like, because he couldn't explain it. I mean,
no wonder, dude. You don't explain that. Now, was this person aware of the other stuff that's been going on in and around the house at all, or anything like that?
Not really.
No.
No. I mean, maybe my brother had mentioned maybe something to him, but in general, no, not really.
So it's not like it's not as if when everyone's in the house, it's like the talking point. And I'm only saying that because I'm trying to, I know that I can tell from you it's real, but for anyone else out there, I'm trying to get a sense of what it's like. So it's not as if everyone's sitting around talking about ghosts and then he goes outside and, oh, he sees a ghost. It's just totally random, right? It's totally random.
Yeah. We're not like just sitting around here talking about ghosts 24/7.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Or you know, when a guest comes over, we're not immediately like, "Hey, did you know that there's a ghost in the house?" Or anything. You know, that's not.
Dude, you're gonna have to get like cameras on your chair and just be like one of these IRL streamers, just goes 24/7 from like the portal at your house. Because here's the weird thing for me, Scott, and I'll get your thoughts on it. And I done a show last night about coincidence and synchronicity, and how sometimes it's not only a coincidence, it leads to deeper things, deeper meaning, like the synchronicity. But at the same time, patterns don't always mean anything, right? But could it be, and again, I'm going way out here, could it be that since you have started talking about a certain portal in Stoll, things have got a little bit worse where you live. Now, to anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, myself and Scott, he came on, he talked about the things in his house before, but then he also introduced us to this little graveyard in Kansas, and it's not too far from Scott, and it's called Stoll. Now, this is rumoured to be one of the 9 or 7 gates, depending which kind of version you read, to hell. I'm not making this up, folks. The Pope, you know that dude, fancy slippers, hey, really kind of woke dress that he wears. You know the dude. He changed his flight plan because it was going over Stoll. So myself and Scott, we start talking about that, and all of a sudden, activity goes up around Scott. And then I'm thinking of my own story, Scott, with Boleskine. When I went there, first hand, visited it, a shadow dude not long after it. Whole heap of things happened to me, my brother, everyone else that went there. And I'm wondering if you're getting the same shit happening to you now, man.
I don't know.
Has it crossed your mind?
I don't know. I mean, do you necessarily have to?
We've got we've probably got one of the funniest super chats that we've had in a long time coming in. That's what you need to get rid of ghosts, There you go. That's what you need, dude.
For the Haggis Fund.
Yeah, the Haggis Fund. Haggis keeps ghosts away, but no, do you think I'm now looking for coincidences where there might not be any, Scott?
Yeah, I don't know if I can chalk this up to Stoll. Because a lot of this stuff has been happening since even before I got into all of the Stoll stuff, right? Like, I wasn't really out there talking about Stoll 10 years ago whenever my friend's girlfriend saw this girl's spirit out by the tree in front of my house. So I think there's something going on, and I'm starting to think maybe we're dealing with 2 separate ghosts, 2 separate entities. I think we're dealing with a male entity, maybe a shadow dude of some kind, and we're dealing with a girl's spirit, a young girl's spirit.
Or something pretending to be a girl.
Something pretending to be a girl. Yeah, I don't know.
I just managed to scare myself saying that, dude.
Or are we dealing with even more? Because, my brother sees these shadow entities. Maybe it's the same shadow entity. Who knows? But then he also sees these, he's seen these shadow animals as well. So what I'm starting to also think about is Native American burial grounds.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of that around here. We also had the Trail of Tears.
Well, Trail of Tears, tell me more.
It's where the natives were displaced by the federal government and forced off their lands and forced to march. You can look that up real quick.
So you're on lands that were contested at one point then, pretty much, very much?
Very much.
Very much.
Very, very much. Lot of bad stuff happened back in the day. Let's just put it that way.
I hope you're full of guilt today, Scott, because of it. We're all to feel guilty for things in the past,
Yes, this is one of the things I'm supposed to have.
It says the Trail of Tears was a series of forced relocations of approximately 60,000 Native Americans in the United States from their ancestral homelands in the southeastern United States to areas to the west of the Mississippi River that had been designated as Indian Territory. There you go.
Yeah, so they were forced out and forced to relocate and move into these areas and, farther areas. Yeah, Kansas, I don't know. That's kind of the main, but there was a lot of forced relocation going on, not beyond just the main sort of Trail of Tears that you see on the maps. I mean, it was going on everywhere.
Yeah.
So, all that activity was happening around here at the time. And then, like I said, who knows, Native American burial grounds. There was just a lot of stuff going on. Just a lot of crazy stuff going on. Then he had the Civil War going on, and you don't hear about Kansas a lot in the Civil War, but there was a lot of crazy stuff happening in Kansas. Just type in bloody Kansas, and Kansas was like sort of this neutral state that there was a lot of or bleeding Kansas is what it was basically a border war. There was a lot of violence that took place.
Yeah, Bleeding Kansas, Bloody Kansas, or the Border War was a series of violent confrontations in the US between 1854 and 1861, now which emerged from a political and ideological debate over the legality of slavery in the proposed state of Kansas.
Kansas was literally like a battleground. You hear about the term battleground states in terms of politics. This was like literally a battleground state in terms of the Civil War, because Kansas kind of was on the fence. It could have went either way, like being part of the Union or being part of the South. So it literally was a battleground state where you saw a lot of the conflict happening. And I believe as a result, Kansas eventually did join the Union, but at the time it literally was the Wild West, man. And there's forgot his name. I should know it. I mean, that's Kansas history.
As long as it's not him that's haunting your house, you're all right.
Yeah, that dude was a radical abolitionist. I can't believe his name isn't coming up to me. If you click one of the pictures, I'm sure you'll see his. He's
Brown.
He's yeah. They did a lot of bad things, even though he was an abolitionist, and he's like kind of held up as a hero for ending slavery, during the Civil War. Brown was a radical abolitionist, and they committed a lot of atrocities against people as well. It just was it's a crazy thing. So, all of that stuff was going on here in Kansas in the 1800s. So there's a lot of, I would say there's a lot of charged.
Is there a lot of hauntings in the state? Is it like kind of notorious for some of its hauntings elsewhere?
What, Kansas?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I would say so. I mean, obviously you have Stoll.
Yep.
I would say the most infamous of the Kansas hotspots. You have other areas. You have other small towns that have lots and lots of paranormal activity. A lot of the towns in western Kansas, I bet that there's a lot of paranormal activity in like Dodge City. Dodge City is where Wyatt Earp, we was sheriff in Dodge City for a while, just the craziness of the Wild West at the time, you know, just people getting shot at poker games, you know, just that whole, just a lot of craziness, you know, atrocities against the natives. And
So let's get back to your house then, dude, because there's another big piece of evidence that you've got kind of simmering away in the background that you've kind of teased the audience with.
yes, let me first, I'm kind of editing the photo here because it is a Snapchat and there's some text on the Snapchat that I don't want.
Got you.
So I'm gonna blur it out.
So what's your mum and that been saying about the latest incident?
I mean, it's crazy, you know. I think it's more of the fact that it was somebody else kind of validating this, right, outside of our family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like more confirmation that something does seem to be going on, and we're just trying to make sense of it. We're just trying to figure out what could it be.
Any banging, anything like that around the house? Noises, anything like that?
We don't get much of like the noise thing, really. But I mean, there has been like one or two incidents where like my brother and my mom heard like noises outside where it sounded like kids laughing.
Now, we've got this
Oh.
place here, Topeka Courthouse, and it's your mum. She was saying there that that's rumoured to be very haunted as well.
Yes, it is rumored to be very haunted. I forgot that. And also the old psychiatric facility, the Kansas it was a psychological hospital.
No, there it is there. You can tell by looking at it.
Menninger. Well, Menninger was probably, just.
Yeah, that looks like the kind of place that's going to be haunted. Yeah, the Menninger Clinic. Dang. I wouldn't fancy spending a night in there, to be honest with you.
I don't know. I don't know if it was Menninger. There was two. There was also a state. There was a. I'm trying to.
Flew that place.
Just.
Osawatomie.
Osawatomie.
Almost got it. Almost got it. Dang, dude, there's some like right old, big, majestic looking houses here. The kind of places that, dare I say it, are partial to a ghost or two. Look at this place. This has got a history written all the way through it, folks. Look at it. You can't tell me that place there, whatever it is, hasn't got like at least one room where there's something floating about, dude. You ain't get me sleeping a night in that place either. Look at it. Damn.
Yeah, there's just, you know, now the more you think about it, the more you're like, wow, maybe there is a lot of crap in Kansas that is.
You see, it's because you've never sat and really thought about it before, the same way you'd never connected the way the girl acted 10 years, the first report that you got of the little girl, and then your mum's incident with the crouching little girl. I don't know if she's shy, if it's maybe some kind of residual kind of haunting, something like that. Have you ever thought about maybe doing like EVPs and Scott, I'm not encouraging anyone out there to like do paranormal investigating unless you know what you're doing. You really have to know what you're doing, folks. But I would imagine you know your way about this kind of thing, Scott, to do a wee EVP session, maybe something like that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
At least that way, it's a form of pseudo communication, I'll call it, okay? as opposed to getting a Ouija board out and maybe opening another portal. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I have an older like actual tape recorder.
Oh,
Like,
I remember you saying that, man.
yeah, and I need to like bust that out, put some new batteries in it, buy a tape for it, and then give it a try because I have heard from different paranormal investigators that using magnetic tape is actually better for EVPs than using a digital recorder because then you're dealing with electromagnetic fluctuations. And so tape could actually pick up an EVP better than a digital recorder. So I think I'm going to give that a try sometime. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking I'm going to have to do some kind of a paranormal investigation session around here sometime soon because it's starting to get to the point to where you can't just ignore all of these incidents that are occurring and not follow up on it with something, and try and see if you can catch something. So I've almost got this I'm going to drop these pictures.
It's a shame
here.
we don't have Jason over there. First world problems. I think he'd be just the boy to come around to the house. And while Scott's finishing that Black Templar, he says the Wizard of Oz is set in Kansas. No, it's not. We're not in Kansas anymore. I'm only joking. Maybe a hint on portals, occult practice, and MK bad stuff related to the state. That is one of the most key kind of pieces of the puzzle. And you keep seeing it coming up time and time and time and time and time and time and time again. Alice in Wonderland. Yes, indeed. Always in TV shows, they pay homage to Alice in Wonderland at least once a season, one episode out of all your biggest TV shows. It'll be something about down rabbit holes or Mad Hatters, or you bet they'll pay their homage to. What's it all about? I don't know. But today we're definitely going back to Kansas, and we are in Kansas, albeit by the power of the internet. I'm joining Scott where I hate to say this, Scott, but you're becoming one of these people that would be coming onto the show normally to tell your story now. You've gone from co-host to like experiencer.
Yeah, it's very interesting, to say the least. And the crazy thing is that me personally, I haven't experienced much of this activity myself in this house. It's other people that are experiencing this stuff.
Brian got that one quickly. Wow, thank you.
A weed ram fillet to keep the chill at bay.
Well, a wee dram always keeps the chill at bay. Also keeps the ghosts away as well. Yes, indeed. So, I don't know. Have you got your picture ready yet, Scott?
Yep, I'm saving it now because I'm what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop you the unaltered version, like, well, other than the big red circle around the area and the blurred out text, but I'm going to drop you the original and then I'm going to drop you the enhanced version. So let me go ahead and add these real quick.
Ooh.
Here they come. Okay.
Okay, hang on.
Now I'll preface this. My brother was Snapchatting his friend, and this was like at 3 a.m. And so, for those of you who are familiar with Snapchat, in order to send a message, you have to take a picture, with some text on it. And my brother, a lot of these kids these days, these younger kids, they use it as a chatting app and not necessarily for the photos. So you're not gonna like see my brother's face in it. He doesn't like to just like snap a photo of his face every time he's Snapchatting. He just kind of moves to the side or whatever. So he sent a snap to his friend, and his friend took it.
You want me to pull it up?
Huh?
You want me to pull it up now? Ready to talk about it?
Yep. Yeah, you can pull it up.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm. So my brother's laying on the couch in the living room, and that dark area behind him, that's the kitchen. So there's kind of a little bit of there's a wall that kind of shoots out a little bit, and then it goes into the kitchen right there. So it's 3 a.m. The only lamp that's on is the lamp in the living room, and it's dark in the kitchen. There's a light above the sink in the kitchen that's on. And so my brother sent the snap to his friend, and his friend took a screenshot of it and circled that, and he was like, dude, what the hell is that behind you? And my brother was like, whoa, I don't know.
There's a pair of feet.
Oh yeah, it is a pair of feet. And it's casting a shadow too.
Yep.
If you notice. Yeah. Now. Nobody's up.
Oh my word.
Mm-hmm. Now we were thinking, okay, was it my mom? Did she get up early in the morning? My mom's like, no, I'm not. There's no way my mom was up at 3 a.m.
Lordy, I've got the goosebumps and everything, man.
Oh, it gets even crazier, because if you open the enhanced photo, it looks like this thing is wearing a skirt.
Holy heck. It's like a girl in a nightshirt or something like that.
Yeah, like
your brother's getting ready for some brown chicken, brown cow. Only there's nobody there.
Yeah, there's nobody there. It looks like it could be a girl too, because like tiny feet, small stature.
But of course, in this day and age, we know that men can wear skirts too, right?
Yes, forgive me for.
I'm just trying to be inclusive, Scott. God,
yes. I shouldn't. Go ahead and assume the entity's gender.
Yeah, can't forget to slip in the gender agenda.
Now, this is like solid form, and
that's probably one of the best photographs I've seen, Scott.
Saying I was probably downplaying it a little bit, because it's a little more spectacular than a lot of the stuff I've seen.
That is not a kilt. That is not a kilt, Mannerus. Definitely not a kilt. Kilts hang just to the knee. It's a very short kilt. It's the kind of kilt I wouldn't. Anyway, but anyway, that is bizarre. Bizarre, dude.
Yeah, we're completely adamant. My brother is completely adamant that nobody was in the kitchen. It wasn't my mom. Obviously, it ain't either of my other 2 brothers, because why would they be wearing a skirt? my mom usually wears pajama kind of pants and stuff, so she ain't not wearing.
Oh, thank you, Lich.
I did a EVP in my house a few years ago. Heavy breathing and a few very dark voices. Do not do it. Lol creeped me out.
And thank you very much, Carl, as well. Thank you, Lich Gore. The EVP, and I'm still kind of blown away by this picture, folks. I'm really taken by this. Not that it's and it is a nice set of legs. It's not that for once is catching my attention. It's the fact that I know they're not attached to anybody there. If I knew that there was a chick wandering about Scott's house looking like that, I'd be booking a ticket right about now, all right? But this ain't no chick. There ain't no brown chicken, brown cow with this one. But Scott, it feels, or in my experience watching loads of shows, right? Because that's all I'm calling on here. That's the best we can do. That looks more something residual, almost like it's going about its normal business. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to some demon, like the shadow thing flying about, some wraith like out the Carmel main window type entity.
Yeah, that's what my mom thinks too. She thinks it's more of just a residual sort of
your
thing.
Mum, there's a key one, right? Because your mum might well have been the only person that's aware of being in the same room as it at the same time. Now, our gut, Scott, our instincts, did she get the spidey senses that there was anything bad going on when that happened to her?
No.
Nah, see?
No, she just saw it.
Yeah.
And there was no sense of like dread
and
or
think
any
of the,
sort of.
Yeah, think of the various reports. I mean, we done white-eyed kids last night. And usually when you see people or hear about people reporting these things, oh, thank you so much, Susie. So much. But you know what I mean, Scott? There's usually like almost the witness, the experiencer often says, I could feel it. You know, I had that sense. And I'm even getting the hairs on my arms going up talking about it because I know, you know what I mean though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's not really the case here. You know, my brother didn't get a sense of anything when he snapped the photo, or he was just going about, just late night Snapchatting with his friends, and my mom didn't have any sort of weird, creepy feeling or anything when she experienced any of this. At least as far as I know, she just. Like I said, she just saw whatever this figure was and thought it was my sister in the kitchen. And obviously, look, I mean, this activity seems to be focused around the kitchen. Where this picture is taken here, of these legs, right behind the legs, just right behind it is the refrigerator. That's that same general area. Just slightly to the left of it, you can see the bottom of the refrigerator. The gap at the floor. Yeah. That's where the refrigerator is. And
now, where's this in relation to the little snack bar where your mum had the incident?
Oh, the island.
Yeah.
Just
sorry.
Right to the left of it. So
right around here.
Yeah, that's the island actually.
Wow.
That darker blob is.
So it's basically a similar location
then. Yeah, it's right there in the kitchen.
And this is what darker blob. This was 3 a.m. Did you say?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like that 3 a.m. I was talking about last night on the Coincidence show? That's crazy.
Oh, the witching hour.
Yeah. Just saying. I think you need to be going down there and any camera phone you've got in the house, have it trained on that area, dude, at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I'm thinking
a small security cam.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some surveillance on the kitchen. Now, another piece of the puzzle that we got to throw in here is the time that our cat Millie freaked out And then she ended up like not wanting to leave the room for like a month, leave my brother's room. And she was sitting at my brother's doorway, to his room, and she was looking into the kitchen. Again, the kitchen, right? And she was freaked out. Like the cat was like freaked out, like kind of like hissing and doing that kind of thing, and like freaked out. And we were trying to look at where the cat was looking. I mean, the cat was obviously staring at something. The cat was looking at something. Her eyes were dead set on something. And we're looking in that area. We're trying to look at where the cat's looking. Nothing. Nothing. The cat was freaked out. And then after that incident, it was like almost a month before the cat would even venture out of the room. I mean, luckily that's where her litter box and her food, and she retreated to an area that she felt safe, that she felt comfortable. But
cats are switched on, dude. That's the most compelling piece of evidence to date. That even goes beyond the photograph for me, because I'm telling you, animals have that sense. They definitely see things out with they already do, Scott. They see in a different range of light. Who knows what else they're seeing in their vision,
And another thing to add to this as well is that, like, our dog will go outside and he'll just be barking, just freaking out. You've heard me sometimes when I'm like, hey, my dog's freaking out about something, right?
I remember that. That was a while ago.
Yeah. And we live kind of out. There's a lot of nature going on out here where we live. So, I mean, we're thinking, okay, he's barking at a squirrel, he's barking at a possum, he's barking at a raccoon or a cat, something. But he'll just be out there sometimes just barking and barking and barking. And we go out there and we look, and he's like not barking at anything that we can see. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing that we can see that he's like looking at, or that's obvious to us that he's barking at. Like, there's no animal that we can see, and he's just out there freaking out. He's just out there barking and barking and barking.
So, does the dog do that all the time, quite often, outside the house?
It depends. Like,
I'm trying to
it's
figure
not
out if it's inside the house or outside the house. You've got a problem, man. It could be everywhere by the sound of it. Sounds like it's all around.
Well, he doesn't do any of that inside the house. He does it outside the house. But if we're talking about two separate entities, right? And we're talking about this one, like, going back to the one that my brother's friend witnessed, if my dog is seeing a shadowy humanoid sort of figure outside, then obviously he goes into protective mode, right? Because that's what we got him for. He's half lab, half German Shepherd. He's our guard dog. And so any kind of stranger or anything that he doesn't recognize, he flies off the handle. He's barking. He's hey, get the hell out of here,
Even when it's things that you can't see.
If it's things that we can't see, but maybe he can see. Because, we don't know what kind of spectrum of light a dog can see in either, right? We talk about cats, but yeah, sure, dogs are somewhat colorblind, right? But maybe that's offset with something else, maybe. And also they have an incredible sense. They can sense things. Dogs can. I mean, you've seen examples where dogs knew that their owner was sick, and then they go out and they go to the doctor and they're like, hey, you have cancer, and the dog like knew that something wasn't right, could sense that, so I believe that they're able to pick up on things that just humans can't. They're operating on on a different wavelength, obviously. And so I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe my dog is freaking out about something. Maybe there's a scent or something that he just doesn't like. Maybe a deer ran through the yard, and a deer will leave a scent, and he knows that maybe something crossed through his territory. But I don't know. It's just weird. Just the whole thing of him being out there sometimes just like barking at nothing.
I want to really get excited about this woo. I really do, right? Especially when you've got this kind of evidence here to go along with it to support what you're talking about. But I'm kind of torn because you're a really good friend of mine, and I hate to think that you're in the middle of this. Now, granted, you're not coming on here and saying it's persecuting you or the family. It's not like trying to tear things apart. Certainly doesn't sound like there's anything negative to it. But at the same time, it's still not nice knowing that some of the things that we talk about, you're literally on ground zero. You're living it.
Yeah, but see, like I said, it's only certain people in the house kind of experiencing it, and it's sort of sporadic, right? It's not like a constant thing either. It's not like we're seeing shadow people or these entities on a daily basis or anything like that. It's very sporadic. But when it does happen, it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? It's like, whoa, it's kind of like a pretty dramatic event when it does occur. So I don't know. And like I said, me personally, I'm not experiencing really any of this myself in the house.
Then you must assume the position of very, very neutral observer and investigator, Mr. Lopez.
Yeah, because I'm not claiming to have seen any of this. I'm just relaying what other people have seen. I haven't seen any shadow entities. I haven't seen any apparitions.
And in my whole time knowing Scott, he's not the type of person that every couple of weeks there's some new ghost in his house or anything like that. So, no.
No, believe me, believe me, people. Kev will ask me because I know he wants to try to get something out of me, but
No.
I know. I'm messing with you, Kev. But no, for real, people. He'll ask, "Hey, anything new happen in the house? Any new, And sometimes I just have to say no because
it's not. Yeah.
It's not. I'm not going to sit there and lie to Kev and tell him, "Oh yeah, there was a spectacular shadow creature."
came slithering out with a message about the Queen.
Yes, they keep slithering in. No. Nah, but like I said, it's very sporadic, and so we can go weeks, months on end without anything happening. Then maybe my brother or my mom will experience something. It's bizarre. So
I mean, what about the dude that drove through the like ectoplasmy type thing? I mean, have they been back to the house yet? Has anything happened to them away from the house? Because I'm thinking, yeah, cool, the car went through it. I'm a bit worried something might get attached to the car here. Do you know what I'm saying?
He was freaked out about that.
No wonder.
He hasn't been back yet, but of course that was last night that all that happened. So I'm sure Justin will be back.
Yeah, he's still poo propelled around his house right now.
Exactly. I told him if he wanted to draw a sketch of what he's seen to hook me up, and we'll show the sketch. But it's interesting that you say that. Like, is he freaked out that anything may have got attached to him or whatever? What he was freaked out about is he was freaked out that he was going to look in his back seat and that it was going to be in there as he was driving home.
Did he look in his rear view at all when he was driving away after he got turned around? And because I know I wouldn't. I tell you that right now. As much as I talk about this stuff, I'd have been shiting myself. I'd have been right down that road and out of there, dude.
Yeah, he pretty much hauled ass, but he did say he looked in the rear view mirror again just to confirm, like, to really make sure that it wasn't a person or anything, and like nothing. Like when he backed through it, it effervesced and it disappeared or whatever. Like he passed through it and it was gone. Yeah, he looked in his rearview mirror. I'm sure he probably looked out his window too, like just to get eyeballs on the situation, and gone, nothing. It was gone. Um,
So your
so
plans then, Scott? I mean, you're going to do the EVP, you think?
yeah, I gotta pick up some batteries, dust that old recorder off, and get a fresh tape for it. I got an old tape in there, but I don't want anything that could contaminate, because if it's got old recordings or something on it, and you're recording over, something could bleed through. So I got to get a fresh, brand new cassette tape. And I'm probably gonna do an EVP. I'm gonna do it late in the night, probably around 3 in the morning. I'm just gonna set it on the table in the kitchen and maybe ask some questions. We'll see. I could also set up a camera. I've got an older digital camera. It's only 720p resolution, but
that does the job. Does the job.
Does the job. Yeah.
Oh, Stephanie. Now, hang on. We're only, 11 members away? So that's the 12th day of Christmas already gone. Will we be opening another window on our advent calendar of KBS today? I wonder. You have still got about 5-10 minutes left to become a member of the channel today. And then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be hurriedly going and switching out the set and getting ready for the arrival of Gerald Salente. Yes, indeed, folks. I'm going to be pre-recording with Gerald Salente just over or just under 2 hours from now. And then I'll be playing it. You'll see it and hear it first on TFRlive.com later. And a simulcast. Yes, indeed, the simulcast will be on. And Scott, if you're still around later, you're more than welcome to join me, because I've only got Gerald for one segment worth. So if you want to come and hang and chill, you can. If not, then that is fine. We'll be back for Freaky tomorrow. But I want to give the floor to you. Your final kind of summary of what's happened, where you're going to go, and, the portal at Scotty's house. A haunting in Kansas.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Brent Thomas, Paranormal Portal. He just dropped in, and we're going to have to send him these pictures.
Yeah, I'll just give him a little taste of it here. There you go.
Yeah.
A pair of legs where there should not have been a pair of legs. Oh
Mhm.
my, it would appear there is a massive torrential storm in Glasgow, because a very, very, very wet and bedraggled Anne has just poured herself in the door. Not good.
Yes, I heard that the weather in Scotland was supposed to be pretty bad.
My mum had warned
today.
me, right? But Scott, I've got to the point where I don't even watch the weather anymore. I've got you. I've got my mum. And she said, well, that's it picking up for tomorrow now. And this was during last night's Scrabble. And I'm thinking, yeah. I was sitting listening to it today, dude. It was howling. I was thinking, it's the kind of weather that puts you in the mood for a good ghost story. So that's why we went to the haunting in Kansas. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Yeah, Brent's seen them now. Yep.
Oh, Jesus, indeed. Yeah. I might have to fill you in on this. We'll have to fill you in on it later, but yeah, that's a pair of legs where.
Look at this, Anne. Come and see, Anne. Look at this. Look, this is Scott's house. There's his brother, right? He Snapchatted a picture to his friend. Look what was in the background. A set of legs.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed, folks. So yeah, back to you, Scotty. I apologize.
No. So So yeah, I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to start doing a little bit of paranormal investigation around here. You know, I've been putting it off. I've been saying I'm gonna do it, but I just never got around to doing it. And
Well, Brent's saying that's intense. You haven't even heard the half of it, Brent. His friend, he drives through an eyeless, mouthless, ectoplasmy, wraithy type thing outside the house. You've had Scott's mum seeing things round about where the legs are seen there. You've had shadow entities. This place has got it all going on, Brent. And I hate it because we've almost brought the paranormal portal to Scott's living room, or at least your kitchen.
yeah, I think maybe one of these days I'm gonna have to join Brent and get into this because I mean it yeah that's just it's just gonna have to happen. So uh whenever you want to have me on, Brent, let me know and we'll set something up because this is
Not
definitely
tonight. Not tonight. I'm trying to steal them tonight, Brent. I'm trying to steal
But
them.
I think I've reached a level of activity here to where it definitely would make for an interesting episode of Paranormal Portal. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, the activity's sporadic. I haven't personally experienced it, but others in the house have experienced it, and all of us, you know, you see now. Obviously, we have some photographic evidence that can't be explained because, like I said, this was taken at 3. My brother took this at 3 in the morning. Everybody was asleep. My mom is never up at 3 in the morning. My mom tries to, when she can get some sleep, she's asleep. She's not wandering around the house at 3 in the morning. So, nobody in
If
the house is
anything with
wearing.
legs like that goes wandering around my house at 3 in the morning, they're probably going to get a bigger fright than I do. Let's just put it that way, okay?
So I don't know. I don't know. It's weird, and currently, with giving all of the experiences and everything we have to work with so far, I'm leaning on 2 separate entities. I'm thinking there's a male shadow dude sort of thing going on, a male entity of some sort, and a young girl. I think that's what we're dealing with here currently right now.
It sure seems that way, folks. And listen, I am sorry to go away so quickly today. But like I say, I've got a pre-record coming up with Gerald, and I wanted to keep this nice and concise, and not to the point where we go on and it kind of tapers out, because I want people to really watch this after we've done the stream. I want it to act like almost a standalone video as well. And I think with people in and around Kansas, and with so many people nowadays so keen on the paranormal topics, I really think this story needs more attention, and I'm absolutely over the moon to see Brent. The fact that you're going to go on that show and talk about it as well, Scott, because that's another audience altogether again. And yeah, again, it's a bit weird though. Here we are talking about these things time in, time out, and then one of our very good friends, one of our own, he's right in the midst of it. Coincidences? It seems like that might be one of the new kind of themes or patterns that this show is falling into, Scott. So I'm going to say my goodbyes. I'll be back later with Gerald. Hopefully, Scott will make some kind of appearance, an hour or two, maybe. I'll try and shame him into it. But until next time, folks, and remember, check back 10 p.m. UK, 5 p.m. on the East Coast, 2 p.m. on the West Coast. And please, 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 if you can, open up the TFR chat room as well. I want to see a good turnout in the TFR chat room tonight, because TFR is the home of the Kev Baker Show, and they are kind enough to let us do the simulcast, but I don't want to get to the point where we're taking too much traffic away from TFR itself. So, Scotty, over to you, my friend.
No, we'll just see what happens. I will keep everybody updated. I'll keep Kev updated if anything crazy happens. Usually we have these kind of spectacular events, and then things just calm down for a long time. So it might be weeks, months before we have anything happen again. You know, unless the activity decides it's going to be more frequent. But I don't know. I don't know. We shall see. So. Just have to keep everyone updated.
Yes, indeed. And we will keep you updated. I'll be back later. Hopefully, Scott. Gerald Salenti, he'll be here as well, almost live. And then tomorrow, myself and Scott will be back for Freaky Friday. I'll be here during the day to while away the time with you. Tomorrow, I think we'll go. You ready? You ready? Tomorrow, I'm going to pull the trigger. Get ready, get triggered tomorrow. We're going to have a very woke Christmas show tomorrow. And yes, indeed. And of course, the weekend madness is almost upon us. So remember, check out Brent, the Paranormal Portal. Remember, check out later the Kev Baker Show. And from me and Scotty, and whatever else may be lurking around his house, we bid you farewell. And remember, if you want to be a member of the Kev Baker Show YouTube channel, all you have to do is go to the channel page, click join, and there's 3 options waiting for you. All of them open up the madness. Yes, you get a key to our very own lunatic asylum. You also get very, 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 very much love from me, Anne, and Big Kevin. And you will be welcomed into the KBS inner sanctum. And you get all our emojis. Until next time, adieu.